What trickery is this, Odin? What game do you play with me now?
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at some of our favorite Easter eggs, hidden details, and secret unlockable content throughout the God of War series.
The temple has gone silent, and the beast who bore it for so long has died. Relics of a world long past. But all myths need not be from the ancient times.
But before we dive in, we publish new content all week long. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Thor vs. Faye, God of War Ragnarok. The crater in Vanaheim is a massive side area in Ragnarok with a ton of optional content. There are several quests given by spirits that reveal more about a fight between Thor and Faye long ago, which caused irreparable damage to the land. One mark of their fight is a frozen lightning bolt. One of these is also formed much earlier in the game when Kratos himself faces off against Thor and the Leviathan axe collides with Mjolnir. When this happens, Thor remarks that it feels familiar, but that it doesn't matter when Kratos questions him. It's a nice, small detail to include, hinting at the God of Thunder's previous clash with Faye. Becoming the Gravedigger, God of War, Ghost of Sparta.
Good. Athena has chosen wisely. I knew it was so.
Who are you?
In the 2005 original, the Gravedigger was a mysterious but helpful stranger on Kratos' journey. At the time, fans speculated about who he was, with many believing him to be Zeus. This leads into a fun secret in Ghost of Sparta. You can visit the Temple of Zeus after beating the game once, which is an area where you can spend red orbs to unlock bonus content. After unlocking everything, you'll open a secret area that contains the Gravedigger's shovel, allowing you to play as him in the combat arena. Only, as soon as you start, the Gravedigger transforms into the God of Thunder, giving you a new, mighty moveset to unleash on as many foes as you like. A name from giants. God of War 2018. The ending of the 2018 game comes with the revelation that the giants referred to Atreus as Loki, and the game ties it into actual Norse mythology with the names of his parents. Faye is short for Laufey, the mother of Loki in traditional Norse tales. More greatly hidden is the name the giants had for Kratos. On that revelatory mural in Jotunheim, there is a Norse word next to an image of him. When translated, it reads Farbati, the same name as Loki's father. It's a small Easter egg, but one of many that shows the team's careful attention to detail.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Familiar glassware, God of War Ragnarok. Throughout the various areas of the 2018 game, you could collect groups of artifacts for XP, and then sell them to Brock and Sindri. One of those groups consisted of different cups and goblets which could be found in the mountain area. Well, just because you're in a new game with new artifacts doesn't mean the Huldra brothers just threw your stuff away. In Ragnarok, during scenes where the group is having a meal together, they'll all be drinking from the same cups and goblets you collected on the mountain. It's another small one, but some much appreciated care when it comes to building the world. Sindri's Travels, God of War Ragnarok.
Look, clearly that's Tyr. Traveling somehow. Perhaps magically.
There have been multiple nods to Egypt in the Norse games, and I'd say it's a pretty safe bet that the series will go there in the near future. While the games give evidence that Tyr has already been there, as has Kratos in a tie-in comic, so has Sindri. But his time there is treated more like an Easter egg. In the 2018 game, during a scene where he searches his bag for a reward to give to Kratos for rescuing him from a dragon, he pulls out an Egyptian sickle. A less noticed Easter egg is inside his house in Ragnarok. On one of the walls, you'll find a painting of a sailboat featuring huge sand dunes. Many players believe this to be of Egypt, and the previously mentioned sickle further supports this. The Forbidden Grip of the Ages, God of War 2018. The collector's edition of the 2018 game did something most others don't, and I really wish they did. Among all the extra goodies is a world map, and on it, a set of instructions you can follow to find a hidden pommel for the Leviathan axe. You can find it at the Muspelheim Tower and will need to defeat a traveler first. Then you light the two braziers, stand in the center, follow a specific set of directional looks, and if done correctly, a realm tear will open up, giving you the forbidden grip of the ages. It's a good one to have early on since it increases all of Kratos' stats and adds a concussive blast to the end of the light attack combo. But it also adds a really cool interactable layer to the Collector's Edition, even if you can find the instructions online. The Three Wise Men, God of War 2. As we all know, the Fates are adept at delivering prophecies. Inside their temple in God of War 2, you can find 3 murals. The most interesting is the third, depicting 3 travelers heading to an unknown destiny. They are shown heading towards the North Star, replicating the story of the 3 wise men from Christianity, heading to the birthplace of Jesus Christ. What makes this a secret is that it was the actual intended end to the series. Creator David Jaffe's vision for the third game was to kill Zeus in the opening moments, which would have led to war between the Greek, Norse, and Egyptian pantheons. After all other gods were killed, Kratos and the other 2 gods of war would have become the 3 wise men, but this plan was obviously drastically changed. The Name of the Boar, God of War 2018. The first time Kratos and Atreus meet Freya, they're unaware that she's a Norse goddess. The meeting comes about by accident while Kratos teaches his son to hunt. Atreus fires an arrow into a boar, which happens to be a friend to the witch in the woods. They agree to help heal him, and afterwards, she lets them use the passageways underneath her house. If you choose to go back before continuing the story, you'll hear secret dialogue where she reveals the boar's name, Hildisvíni. In Norse mythology, Hildisvíni is a shape-shifting companion to Freya, normally in the form of a boar. So there's a nice nod to her true identity before it's revealed later.
Back home, he could take any form he liked, but since he came here, he's been stuck.
Paying tribute through trolls, God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok.
We are not men. We are more than that.
Trolls are common mini-bosses in the Norse games, and come with a couple of neat Easter eggs. Inside of Tyr's temple, Kratos and Atreus face a duo, Grendel of the Frost and Grendel of the Ashes. They're named after the antagonist from Beowulf, an old English epic poem. While not necessarily referred to as a troll, Grendel is a monster with similar characteristics. In Ragnarok, a side quest eventually leads you to fight a similar duo in Vanaheim, Golrab of the Frost and Golrab of the Flame. Golrab is simply Barlog spelled backwards, named after Cory Barlog, who has been with the series since the beginning and directed the 2018 game. Secret Messages, God of War. If you've ever wondered what it might be like to have an actual conversation with Kratos, these secret messages have the answer. By completing the first game on God Mode, the hardest difficulty, you'd unlock Secret Message 1 in the Treasures menu. The phone number it gives leads to a recording of Kratos praising your talents for completing the mode and revealing that he keeps Ares' soul in a hidden chamber. Secret Message 2 can be obtained by destroying the 2 statues in Kratos' throne room at the end of the game. Descrambling this phone number also leads to a recording of Kratos, though this time he's interrupted by director David Jaffe.
Together, we shall conquer the perils that lay before us, and we shall always...
Kratos, dude, they did it! They found our Easter egg!
Hilariously, Kratos kills Jaffe after he insults the God of War's pasty white skin.
You know, up close, you actually look kind of pasty, if you don't mind me saying. It's kind of gross.
All right, that's it!
The Fate of the Titan, God of War.
Kronos, the last of the mighty Titans, emerged from the desert sands. On his back, Pandora's temple awaited, massive and patient.
Another unlockable from beating the original game on God Mode is a cinematic detailing what happened to Kronos. Named The Fate of the Titan, it tells how Kronos lived for 1,000 years more after the game's events, before showing teams of explorers heading to his skeleton. Gaia's narration also explains how the temple on his back, still holding treasures and secrets, will give birth to a new hero.
Soon, as with all great myths, a new hero will emerge.
It seems the developers originally had no plans to continue following Kratos' story, since Kronos canonically dies in God of War 3. But the thought that a new hero could branch off from finding these remains is an interesting one. Atreus' true identity. God of War 2018.
This is our story.
No. This is your story.
Atreus' real name came as a shocking twist at the end of the game, but if anyone had thoroughly studied the first area, and we do mean thoroughly, they would have seen it coming. Similar to how the developers placed a damaged Jotunheim mural in the first fight with Baldur, they also hid Atreus' true identity in Kratos' home. Inside, you can find 4 runes that, when translated and put in the right order, spell Loki.
She was a giant. I'm a giant.
As the game tells us, this is the name Faye wanted to give her son before she and Kratos agreed on a Greek name. Naturally, Atreus being an alternate version of Loki made for some interesting story beats in Ragnarok.
Come on. We're so close to the end now.
The 999,999 hit combo, God of War 2. It sounds ridiculous, but tweaking the rules in the arena mode can let you get this insanely high combo. And once you reach that number, the URL islandofroads.org will briefly appear on the screen. Initially, all that could be seen by visiting the site was a countdown, and when it reached 0, players discovered its own secret that led to the game's hidden HD mode. By following the site's instructions, you'd be able to play in high res. The mode was so deeply hidden as it was apparently tough to implement, with the last bug getting fixed on the final day of production. In this case, the process of figuring out the secret was much more interesting than what it turned out to be.
I am what the gods have made me!
Spartans stand tall. God of War 3. Despite the lackluster payoff of the hidden URL in God of War 2, the developers decided to hide another one in the sequel. But this time, the site actually led to a cool tease, and was likely more obtainable by a wider array of players.
The Spartan lights the way to dusty death.
By getting the game's Platinum Trophy, you'd be shown SpartansStandTall.com. At first, it only showed a Spartan shield with a meter around it set against a rainy backdrop. But over time, the meter filled, revealing the full picture. Kratos looking at his younger self in a massive puddle. The site was teasing Ghost of Sparta, a PSP spin-off set in between the first 2 games. Hiding its reveal within the third entry was a great way to build hype.
The world stands in ruin. What good is your message?
Surrender Kratos, God of War. The Temple of the Oracle from the original game is a unique, mysterious place, even more so than players realized at first. Once you make it there for the first time, you can find a message written in the sky. First, you click R2 near a hidden chest past the save point on the left side of the temple. Click it again on the large dirt pile next to the gravedigger, and once more in between the 2 torches by the temple's entrance. Doing so will cause Surrender Kratos to be written in the sky. Of course, Kratos isn't normally one to surrender under any circumstances. Now I am become death. God of War 2. Similar to the Surrender Kratos message in the original game, the developers did one better in the sequel. After Kratos' fight with Perseus, you can backtrack a bit through the Hall of Atropos and find 3 stars on the ground. One by the exit to the balcony, a second under the window outside, and a third by the 2 trees near the giant horses. Pressing R1 on each of them quickly enough will cause a ton of red orbs to pour out of the trees. And another message will appear in the sky, this time reading, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." It comes from the Bhagavad Gita, a Hindu scripture, but there's no arguing it fits Kratos incredibly well. The Infinity Gauntlet, God of War 2018. The newer games give players a lot more variety when it comes to item and weapon management. One relic from the 2018 game is called the Shattered Gauntlet of Ages, Kratos' version of Marvel's Infinity Gauntlet. It isn't that impressive on its own, but there are 6 gems that can enhance its power significantly, though it can only hold 3 at a time. Each of them corresponds to one of these 6 Infinity Stones, such as Njord's Temporal Stone, which has a chance to briefly slow enemies after you deal damage. Most of the stones are fairly hard to get, so you better be prepared to work for them. But it's all worth it to gain even a fraction of the power that Thanos felt.
You should have gone for the head.
Odin's Deception, God of War Ragnarok.
You know that ain't his name. Hey! I'm talking to you! You never shut up!
One of the best twists in the series comes when Tyr reveals himself to be Odin in disguise and stabs Brock. But there are multiple clues before this happened that most of us didn't pick up on. When you find and quote-unquote rescue him, he's tied to the wall by a noose made of rope. In both Norse myth and the game's lore, Odin hung himself from the world tree Yggdrasil in a search for more knowledge. One of the biggest clues stares you in the face the whole time. The Y in Tyr's name is meant to have an accent mark above it, but all the subtitles and scenes featuring the fake Tyr leave it out. When you find the real Tyr during the post-game, the accent mark is there. You also find him in a prison containing other people Odin used to disguise himself as, including a dwarf who spits off the bridge when Kratos and Atreus first arrive in Svartalheim. The Cistern Painting, God of War Ascension.
You will even end up on Olympus one day.
I will never serve Ares again!
This 2013 prequel houses one of the most fascinating teases in the series. During the Cistern chapter, Kratos comes upon a mysterious painting of what looks to be Olympus. A message from Aletheia warns of a terrible prophecy and lists jumbled letters. But if you descrambled the letters and solved the subsequent puzzle, the painting would change to Earth, showing what appears to be the supercontinent Pangaea.
You will return.
Death first!
The message also changed to read, "When the Earth stops, the journey begins." The painting puzzled fans for years, but it was likely a tease for the future of the series. Pangaea explains how Kratos could go from the world of Greek myth to Norse, and the main quest in the 2018 game is called The Journey.
A question for another day. Let us go home.
The Boat Captain, Various.
Save me.
What first seemed like a very minor character has popped up multiple times throughout the series. In the first game, he gets swallowed by the Hydra and ends up in the underworld, with Kratos leaving him for dead in both instances. In the second game, he's one of the souls summoned during the fight with the barbarian king.
No! Not you again!
In the third game, you can find a letter from him in the underworld that curses Kratos' existence. He's also referenced in the Ascension prequel. You'll find the boat captain's idol on a sunken ship in the grotto. But at least Kratos wasn't the one behind whatever this tragic event was. He's even referenced in the Norse world. One of the treasure maps you find on the Lake of Nine comes from one of the captain's crewmen, who took over following his death. And following it leads you to part of that destroyed ship. Finally, Kratos mentions him in a journal entry from Ragnarok for the Lingbakker, the chained aquatic creature that reminds him of the captain. The Valhalla DLC confronts Kratos with his past actions and presents him with the very same key he stole from the captain while leaving him for dead.
You impaled one of its heads on the ship's mast, was it?
Yes. But that battle is not why this key appeared. The killing of the boat captain point. That seems to follow me wherever I go.
What are some of your favorite secrets in the series? Head to the comments to let us know, and we'll see you next time.